Hey there. I hope y'all warm wherever it's cold, and I hope y'all nice and cozy whenever it's hot. So, I've noticed so many people are freaking out and the energies are getting intense, especially in Europe and the North Americas, and the whole world is really on its edge. And I kind of wanted to give a message to my American friends and my European friends that everybody think like, oh, I elected that person, so that was a mistake, and um, because of that, that's what's happening, and because of that, these decisions are being taken. And when they ran for election, they promised this and this and that, but actually, when they got their seat, they did something completely different, and now I'm affected, and now I'm sorry. And now I see a lot of like Trump regret. I mean, he's only been in the seat 2 weeks, and so many Trump regret videos, and a lot of people saying like, I'm gonna turn blue. And I was like, I don't know about you, but watching America from the side, it didn't look like the Democrats has done any better. Started wars everywhere, supported violence and the killing of a lot of innocent people for no reason, espionage, you name it. Their business, their hand is in every plate and in everyone's business. And so you would say, okay, so what has to do with Europe? I was like, because it's everywhere. In reality, part of why they start wars is so everybody's aching heart for totally true reason, because in war there's always so many innocent people dying for no reason. Bullshit stories that men in suit, watch out from those, tell us. And so all our attention goes to that. It's called the Reichstag trick. It's Hitler invented it. And so we're talking about that. And meanwhile, they pass laws that take our rights here. They pass laws that don't allow people freedom. They're basically taking our rights and enslaving us, passing laws that nobody's noticing because they're all talking about a war there and a war there and the poor victims here. And I was like, I love you, and I love the beautiful hearts who really want to help others. But let me tell you something, you can't. You can't help them. You can help them. There's only one way. I mean, there's many ways, but one effective, easy way that everybody can jump in. And you know what? We even had a little practice on COVID. Is that not going to work? And there's even a better way, not shopping. And there's going to be a non-shopping day this week, or there has been. Start joining on those. I don't like to call it boycotting because it reminds me of school like bullies and stuff, and that's not the theme. That's not it's not the attitudes, because it's very important about the attitude that we do things in. Because if we do something as a revenge, then we're just continuing the cycle of war and hatred. And if we want to punish them, we do the same thing. They want to enslave us, and only trying to punish them for it's the same coin. It's not even the other side of it. It's exactly the same thing. So it's very important that the energy that we do change in will be beautiful and loving, because if that's the change we want to see, this is how we need to address it. And if we address change with like resist, revolt, and all that, we're gonna get exactly that backwards. It's like the backlash they call it. And so we really have to watch the energies we come into, and we really need to watch before we go into creating change, the energies of us watching external people who are, or groups, or anything that we want to change. We need to watch how we watch these people, because if we condemn them and we're like, they're evil, he's a villain, he's a crazy man, if we call them names, then we're perpetuating the same situation that they are doing. Like, look at these people, they need to get punished. Look at these people, they need to get we need to kick them out of the country. Look at these people, they're evil, they're mean. Like, it's the same rhetorics that they're using. If you want to change, you can't use the same word. It's like Albert Einstein said that if you want to do something, if you do the same thing and expecting a change, then there's something off with you, because if you can't do the same thing and expect something different. So you really have to change your attitudes. You have to look at them and see them as small little children who never got attention and love, who are having issues, and they need to take care of themselves. And rip them off of that strength and the power you give them, calling them villains, and stop believing that if you choose something else it will change. It won't. Let me simplify it very like flat on. I have been interested in kings and queens ever since I was youth, and I always wondered who made them kings, what made their blood better, why are they better people. And I realized, to summarize it, as I don't know, what was I, eighth grade? Nah, not even 8 years old. 10 years old, I realized, this is just someone who's a little like clever, and thought, let me take a bunch of really big guys who will scare others, give them some like sticks to threaten others, and come and take some other people's stuff and start taking over. And that is the system of economy all over the world. That's the simplified version because that's how it started. But it's still now going on. It's been thousands of years that it's going on. And therefore, that's why I say the biggest solution for that is to not participate. Did you see what happened in Korea last year? The Korean government they wanted to make something about medicine school. They wanted to make it easier to pass or easier to get in. And doctors were very alarmed because it's like, no, there's a reason why there's a really high standard, because we want to give high standard of service. And in Korea, which is, I can't even explain to you, it's like Japan, it's a very, very strict society of work and levels, and especially people of like that level, like it's very strict and very committed to the communal togetherness of working for each other. That's why they didn't support the government, making going to medical school easy, because they wanted to keep that standard. They went on a strike. And what did the government try to do? They tried to pull them out of their homes. And this is the age we're in. I don't know if you ever watched 1984. It's also called Brazil, I think. Watch it. Either two. I think it's two different movies, but it's the same story. The governments, these agents, who are the governments? Used to be monarchy and kings and all that, and then they got tired of running the show, so they started making clerks. And in the older version, what we see is people in suits. People in suits. It's either from the corporate world. You see now how much power people from the corporate world have, and how much they can affect our lives in so many ways, even if their products are not supposedly affecting. Like, they can have an app and then suddenly they become billionaires, and now they can be in the government. All these things, the way our governments are made, the way we choose, the way we give politicians, like, we dress them up well, they eat well, they fly over the world, and it's all about from our money, so why are we paying for that? Because they're not giving us anything. The whole world, I'm talking about the whole world, need to fire these people, because they're just agents of someone larger, and usually someone who holds the power. In Hebrew we say Baal HaMe'ah u Baal HaDe'ah. The one who holds the 100, like a lot of money, is the one who tells everybody what to think. He's the one who has the opinion. He will tell you what to think. And look at the media, and look at the cinema, and look at except for, I think, theater, even the art world. They touch everything, fashion, everything. They're continuously telling you what to do, how to be, in the screen, and watch this, look that, that. It's just like you don't notice it because you're so used to it. So part of it is deprive them from giving you power. And how do you deprive them from giving you power? First of all, you go deep in and start watching yourself. And I'm not telling you go watch TikTok. I'm saying better to read. But even that, don't worry. They have implanted stuff. How to read and know what is the truth for you, because we said the truth is a personal thing. Read something. And if it feels like in your stomach, in the gut, I don't know, perhaps somebody has some kind of a secret interest behind what they wrote, then it's not for you. But if it feels like in the vibration of your being, in your cells, that that rings so true, then it's your truth. It's part of your truth. And you can make out of a text, take just pieces of what you feel is true, and move on to the next text, and take just pieces, and then create your own thing. I advise not to create your own thing, but it's a whole different story. But at least remove what there was the old. And a lot of it has been done in COVID. And I think, thank God for COVID, because it helped us practice a lot of things, being by yourself, thinking about the world, thinking about the state of things, seeing that the system's not for you, seeing that it's in a hurry to harm you, and then tell you a story that it's actually taking care of you, while in the background people are suffering and getting deformed and whatnot. And also that you stop. If you go to the statistics, and this is going to be a controversial story, I'm not going to tell you exactly what I think, but I tell you exactly what I see. Super simple. I went online and I checked how many people died from COVID in the whole time that the world was closed, and how many people died from the most dangerous disease nowadays. So the most dangerous disease was some kind of a heart complication. It wasn't genetic. It's just something that you get through the years. And 8 million people a year die from that. And from COVID through back then when I checked, I think it was like a year and a half ago, through the 2 years that the whole thing was going on, something about 4 million people died. Now you tell me if that's enough to close the world. And let me tell you, when you're home, all kind of stuff can be done outside because you're not outside watching. Not gonna go into the conspiracy theory, just telling you and reminding you this is something that happened that you forgot, because everybody want to erase what happened in COVID. People are just like, oh, we're back to normal. Let me tell you something, we're never gonna be back to normal. Life will never be normal, and there's a good reason for that. Because let me tell you something, ever since 2015, like when things started really change and open, especially with the gender revolution and all that, things have started to reverse too, because they're scared. And it was not only the people that were scared, the media was like, fear for breakfast and for lunch and for dinner. I was bombarding you with fear, and so everybody wanted to forget. And the COVID was all fear-based. It was so easy to get everybody in it because all they knew from 2015 to 2019 was fear. So everything is a build-up. You should look backwards and see how things are perfectly aligning. Not really, because whoever made the plan didn't consider a lot of things, and I have a feeling that a lot of times there's plots to cause all kind of chaos in reality for humans, and it doesn't happen because all kind of other things happen in the background, like more light coming into the world, more people downloading messages, more people opening their consciousness to understand that they're a multidimensional being rather than sacks or bags of organs going to work and pooping and eating. So what I want to advise you is drop the I'm gonna elect something else. Start putting in your mind that we need another system. Now everybody don't want to say that because at the end they're like, who's gonna want to do that job? Well, think about it. I'll tell you one clue already. Make that job not well paid, but make sure that the person who will do the job will have everything they need to do the job. Make it less luxurious, less about money and more about working for the people, and make it percentage based. The more people you help, the more your solutions and innovations are helping society and bringing it to a better place, or getting more people housing, food, support, mental support, all these things that we need, then you can get bonuses from that, like sales, but for human benefit. Now the other thing I want to ask you is to think with yourself and with your friends, because I feel like a lot of people are sitting with their friends but they're not talking about that, thinking like if they pass time like back in the day, it's normal back in the day. You pass time, somebody's gonna come knock on your door and take you somewhere else. We gotta wake up. I don't want to scare people, but I want them also to wake up and think, okay, it's not the end of the world, it's just the end of the world as we know it. And it doesn't have to go to these places, but I'll tell you something for sure, you can stop it by not participating. Don't buy anything, don't go to work, encourage other people to not do that. And you say, how are we going to survive? We're going to help each other out. The more we come together, the more we can take that apart, and then we can be the government of ourselves. And I totally believe that you shouldn't put all the eggs in one basket. The whole thing of one man or one woman ruling the whole thing is no. It works like it's the same thing as monarchy. Like I just said, democracy is monarchy in another dress. There is no democracy, and I can bet with you that 90% of the times, all through history, ever since the whole election thing started, with there nobody even counted it. The reality was, who choose the people are again the people who had the money. So if we start sitting together and thinking what will replace our economy, the way we congregate, our goal as humanity is to get more paper with a person on it and a number, and let me call it in another name, money. I mean, like, come on. Our goal is to gain and to hold more for ourselves instead of sharing all the magnificence that we have, including space and territory, because nobody owns territory. That whole thing of people owning stuff because they lived it, because everybody owns Earth. Earth belongs to everybody who's born on it. There's no one owner. There will never be one owner. It's an illusion of control, like any other real illusion of control. So instead of thinking, I'm going to choose blue this time, I say, no, I'm going to fire them all, fire there. Because they deserve that. Even the good ones, they try the best, but you can't change the system from within, especially when it's so rotted. You can't. You can make little adjustments, but all these little adjustments that happened, the freedom allowing rules, which is like, why we need rules to allow freedom when freedom is there? Why don't we not have a system that constrain us and try to oppress us? Think about that. That's exactly what I want you to think. How would you run the world in another way? What would be your supportive system? And also, forget about the paper trail. Forget about how humans did it, because they did it on a purpose to make it complicated, so you will not be able to understand it. So there will be another economy based on somebody have to read you the language that you don't understand, even though If the government is giving you a service, why is it writing you the services in a language you don't understand? So you have to go pay someone to translate it to you or write to her back in the same language. It's all made in that way. It's like a maze. So we can get lost in the maze and then look at someone else and blame them for that, instead of owning what's really going on and understanding that it's us giving our power to others. That is very hard one to understand. And I want to advise the people of all countries that feel like their countries are so much in change they will never recognize, including Canadians, because I've seen the really huge attempt of Monsieur Trudeau to become dictator, like in a lot of places, like in France too. Every country, as there is rising in dictatorship and people taking advantage of democracy to to become dictators. I was like, that's the same hole Hitler came through. Ain't nobody fix it. So I don't know why y'all want democracy, everything for everyone, if it's a faulty system that just, clearly can become a very easy path to become a dictator. And also, everybody has the same problem in every country I visited, and I've seen a lot of countries in the world. Everybody's like, you elect them and then they do what they want. I said, so why don't you just fire them and make a whole new system? Why don't you have goals? Start with the goals. What is the goal of humanity? Is that steal a paper and hoarding everything for yourself? No, we need each other. Some people have more and they want to share. How do we distribute it so everybody can have? How can we incorporate all the talent people have in order to create a new reality? What do we really want? Where is this going? What can life on Earth be without this craziness? From building material to energy to communication to transportation, all these things. Start thinking, how can we collaborate with Mother Earth instead of destroying it? I mean, like, obviously the world looks like that because we're all sitting silent while our own mother, like the planet that hosts us, is being destroyed. Obviously this is what's going on. That's what I said. If this is the energy you do things, this is what you're going to have. If you're silently watching people destroying something when you're feeling that it's completely wrong and they're not do anything, like not participating in it, then obviously your life is going to look frustrated, because it's a frustrating situation to be. It's always nagging you in the back of your head, even if you have, you're comfortable and you're supposedly sitting quietly. What will happen when not everybody's going to sit quietly? What will happen when people are going to be really hungry, or people will be cold because they cut them off of electricity? They're going to go out to the street and come to your mansion, squirrels. So you better think about that. All these people thinking like, whatever, I work for this taking people's information in a company or a war company and whatever. They're never going to touch me. I was like, yeah, what happens when they use those weapons against you? Oh, I'll be somewhere else. What will happen when you'll come to that somewhere else? Because you don't know how long and how far that product that you made is going. So all these people who collaborate, especially with something that it's evil, and they're not evil, and they know what's going on, but they don't want to take part in it, kind of sounds like the Nazis, doesn't it? Stop collaborating. I don't say sabotage. Stop collaborating. Try to slow it down. Try to bring it to another else. So just quit that damn job, girl, because that karma is going to chase you forever and for generations. Let me tell you, it's not a good idea to collect karma like that, especially if you know and you don't do anything about it. If you didn't know, it's a whole different story. But if you know and you're silently part of it, it's very hard. Now, I don't blame people who are silently part of it. We all are. This is not a blaming game. I don't believe in a blaming game. I don't believe one person is guilty of anything, and there's no point in putting all the blame, because we all are a part of one group that's operating together. So we need to think of that collective and think, what do we want? Where do we want to take this thing? What is the future of humanity? And what's the purpose of being on this place? There is a purpose. Start asking questions. Start reading books. You know what? And if you don't trust the books and you don't trust anyone, especially not the people in the suits, which you shouldn't, because all are part of a story that they're meant to scare you and belittle you and get you stuck in, hypnotized in fear mode, then get out of the fear mode. Cut yourself out of it. Start thinking, what is the next thing, and fill your heart with love. Because if that will be your attitude, let me tell you, we're going to come up with the most beautiful creative things. We are mini universes, mini gods. We can do, be, or have anything we want. What are we going to choose? So I totally advise you, choose love. Open your heart. See, everyone is the same. Everybody has something to offer to this world. Why don't we come together and see which one can offer what? Why don't we grow our children for their best potential, for whatever they want to do, and to start creating a new world, even if you're just dreaming about it. That is the biggest revolution you can make within yourself. Much love to you all. Stay in peace.